Hello everyone, this is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and this is your weekly forecast for November 17th to the 23rd of 2024. Our quote for the week says, "Strengthen your resolve, align more fully with your integrity, and fine-tune your intentions." Deep breath. I am still tripping on the quotes that I chose a month ago and how appropriate they are when we get to them. Mercury's entering its retrograde zone, so we're going to change our thinking. And I have the 67-minute replay uploaded here. The Scorpio Gate of Power 42-minute replay is also uploaded, and I'll be sending out goodies and notes and everything over the weekend. But they were both very powerful calls that are going to support us. Well, the Scorpio Gate's going to support us for the rest of the year, and the Mercury retrograde was for 2025, so it's kind of preparation ahead of time. But I did tell folks that this Mercury retrograde in Sag that we're entering into is the rewiring of our consciousness that's going to lead to a lot more creativity and changes in the new year. So our week kicks off with an actual Mercury retrograde activation, one of them. This one is opposing Jupiter 3 times over. First one is this week on the 18th, which is Monday. The next hit will be December 4th, and the final hit will be December 26th. So we're going to look at this one for what it is, but we're going to recognize that it's a process. And usually the first hit, let's say this week, illuminates what needs to be reviewed. And with Jupiter, it's always your belief systems and your consciousness and what you believe to be true or possible. And with Mercury, it's a rewiring of your thinking and self-expression. So Jupiter wants us to expand our vision around something. Let's look at it for the Sag Gemini departments. Okay, the learning and teaching, the student-teacher vibration, writing and publishing, thinking and consciousness, or your ideas and wisdom. Just the higher and lower octaves of the mind are at work here getting recalibrated. And I can honestly say there have been other messages along the way, that all include Jupiter that are telling us to think bigger in certain ways, not smaller. So just check in and see what's going on in your Gemini Sag departments, because that's where the realignment is happening. Any opposition requires us to work with two distinct energies and get them to work together for the good of all involved. It is also a midpoint, which allows you that 180-degree view from the other side of your starting point, roughly 6 months ago. Mercury and Jupiter are working out the push-pull going on within you between your mind and consciousness, between your thinking and beliefs, between your thoughts and imagination, between the tedious details and the grand vision. Because of all this, it would be tremendously beneficial to play amongst a group of like-hearted souls with varying points of view. Mavericks who follow their intuition, as well as humble healers who also buck status quo by following their intuitive knowing within. Something we all have the capacity for. This is great for what I call jam sessions, when my colleagues and I get together to discuss our ideas and insights about our professional goals. Something like that is a great use of this energy. Plan, strategize, discuss with others, get input and feedback, bounce ideas around, and be open and receptive to others' points of view, because they may think of something that you didn't. Make sure it is a circle where all opinions are valued, even if they are not shared. This is a good one for learning something new and looking at things from another angle completely. So think of the ideas that you got put in motion 6 months ago, which would have been around May. Taurus time, we're in Scorpio time now, and Mercury's faster, so it's already in Sag. And even if it was just stopping there and not retrograding, I would say it's time to start cultivating the story you want to tell for 2025. But because of the retrograde, we are rethinking our story, we're rethinking our beliefs, we're reorganizing our thoughts so that we can be more integrity and tell a more authentic story. And probably needs to be expanded. And then that expansion has to be grounded, otherwise we just topple over. So there's a lot to do backstage while Mercury is lingering here, going back and forth with Jupiter. Same day, Monday, the 18th, Sun is going to trine Neptune. Now we're back in the water, Scorpio to Pisces. This energy triggers your idealistic, altruistic inclinations, but remember that help has to be invited. We do not impose. You never know what someone's lesson is. You have to let them walk their path. But if you have the energy to share and to spare, then dedicate yourself to something greater than you. Choose a cause to support or help those less fortunate for the sheer pleasure of giving. If your energy is low at this time, it is better directed inward. If you can, take some extra time in intentional solitude, praying, meditating, and connecting to spirit this week. You will be rewarded with deep revelations and mystical discoveries within you. It's a great time to do divinations, ritual, or ceremony if you're into that. Your intuition is heightened also, so pay attention to any messages that come through or to you. Try to use this energy to reflect on where you are and dream a little about where you want to be, mentally, spiritually, and physically in 6 months to a year from now. Deep breath. So the sun has an annual cycle. Neptune is in its last year in Pisces, so that's going to shift to Aries, and then the sun will link up with it in Aries going forward. But for now, we've been in a 14-year evolution in our water department. And anything that hits Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer has, let's say, tapped into this energy and expanded it. The sun is lighting something up, and Neptune is our faith and beliefs and spirituality and other dimensions. So we're asking for that sun to give us clarity on whatever our intuition is trying to tell us so that we can be clear. And a trine is ease and grace, so that's actually a good thing. Then Tuesday the 19th, Pluto, which is already direct from its annual retrograde process, and it's making its permanent entry into Aquarius, and will be there until 2044. So there's no looking back now. Pluto is a collective planet that moves in an erratic orb, spending 10 to 35 years in a sign. As of the 1980s, when Pluto was in its home sign of Scorpio, it was at the short end, spending about 10 to 12 years there, revealing the underworld of sex, death, power, money, and resources. Lots of power behind the power during that decade that got exposed. Then in the 1990s, it moved through Sag, revealing all the erosion and toxicity of the Vatican and organized religion, went through a complete upheaval. Then Pluto started extending its stay in Sag for 13 years, then extending it again by spending 16 years in Capricorn during 2008 to 2024, where we are right now, where we have witnessed the crumble of institutions, government, healthcare, education, and most social systems that are now having to be reimagined and reborn. In Capricorn, we see the price of giving away our power and inner authority to outer structures or systems. So now, moving into 20 years of Aquarius is shifting the purification and transformative process onto humanity, technology, and the future. This is a mixed blessing. As with all alignments, there is a light and shadow expression. The blessing of Pluto moving through Aquarius is the mass awakening of humanity on some level. The old ways no longer work, and where we have been trapped in survival mode, we now have to consider the future of the next 7 generations. Our choices directly affect them, and power is shifting from the old school, controlling patriarchy, the few who want to hoard the resources and control the many, to the new school, progressive, future-oriented Aquarius that wants more community, collaboration, and equal distribution of resources to those who need it most. We get super inventive and creative when shifting big cycles like this, and Aquarius is probably the most inventive, so can you feel it? Jupiter and Saturn kicked off a new 20-year cycle in Aquarius and a 200-year cycle of the air element, being, let's say, dominating the social systems, the social tapestry. Venus and Mars kicked off a new cycle of integration of our sacred feminine and masculine that is more progressive and collaborative. Last time they met up in Aquarius. Now Pluto moves into Aquarius, kicking off its own kind of 250-year cycle. This feels like on-the-ground entrance into the 2500-year Aquarian age. At a minimum, Pluto's ingress will seal the deal of utter transformation and rebirth in our Aquarius departments as individuals. But remember, this is a low and slow kind of cooking that Pluto will do over the next 20 years. As with any healing or transformation, we have to purify first. Then we can heal, then we can restore, then we can protect. It is a process. Another blessing of Pluto in Aquarius is that we may shift to a higher form of communal living where we share resources and are responsible for our own communities. This progressive energy sees the value and longevity possible when we share the work as well as the rewards. There is value to offering your unique contribution and working together as a team for the greater good, but for the powers that be who want clones and drones instead of critical, creative, thinking humans, this can be very threatening. And nothing worthwhile is ever easy or simple. This is a radical shift to a new way of working together, using technology to serve its true purpose, not run the world, but of freeing us up to be more creative individuals. This is when our innovation goes through the roof, partly by those breaking the rules and liberating old consciousness, but also partly by the old saying, need is the mother of all invention. We need a new way that is more life-affirming and sustainable. And in order to combat some of the consumption and waste, we are going to have to literally invent new things to help us move forward. The shadow side of Pluto in Aquarius is embodied by those who would enslave us with technology, blurring the lines between human nature and the nature of technology. One operates on organic, evolutionary responsiveness, and the other is programmed and disconnected from the multidimensionality of earthly existence. How do you blend that without annihilating one or the other, or both? This is the cold, detached rulers overseeing the minions that they feel entitled to control, exploit, and manipulate for personal gain. Deep breath. Pluto in Aquarius over the years coincides with huge battles over slavery and human trafficking, and here we are with all this up again. We must be vigilant about preventing another era of global slavery, oppression, and manual labor that allows their technologies to continue sucking Mother Earth of her resources and expanding unabated until they take over. Then we have altered the organic nature of Earth and her creatures which naturally inhabit this planet, humanity being one of those creatures. We, like Mother Earth, are regenerative creatures. However, it takes us some time to go from idea into form, depending on what you are creating. So let's use the purifying power of Pluto to distill our Aquarian dreams back to their original essence, one that is inclusive, sustainable, and good for all life on this planet. Let's lead by example and work together to cultivate thriving communities that work well together and no longer require overlords, bosses, or authority figures to run our lives for us. We will become self-sustaining with the help of some technology and a whole lot of community. One last note, this will be particularly intense for any Aquarius, Leo, or Taurus, Scorpio energies in your chart, so take it easy and pace yourself as transformation is a journey, not a destination, especially with Pluto. And that cauldron that Pluto kind of cooks us in, like I said, the most intense and fastest transformation ever was in the 80s while it was in Scorpio. So now it's stretching out and the transformative process is going to take longer until it tops out around 33 to 35 years. And then it's almost like a spring that starts coming back. And then it starts getting less and less until it gets back down to 10 or 12. And it just goes in this wave-like over the 250-year cycle. And I've mapped it out for like 750 years to see what it really looks like on paper. And that's what it does. It's kind of like an accordion. It stretches out and then it comes into for really intense transformative processes. And for all intents and purposes, we're still on the short end of that. From 16 to 20 is extending, but we still got a long way to go before 35. So we're changing so much so fast, y'all, that the other aspect of Aquarius is your individuality. I find it hard to take on the world. So for me, I say if the individuals get it together, the globe will be okay. But I know I have a lot of world servers in my circle, and we support your truth and purpose as well. But all of my tools and things are directed towards supporting the individual and hoping that you will use this information in conjunction with your own blueprint. And this week is a lot of very personal, Sun and Mercury. It's all about you and what's lighting up and the ideas that are coming to you. And it ends with a really good one with Venus and Saturn. So I like that. It's almost like Spirit is lighting things up for us to show us the different possibilities or the things that need to change or be fixed so that we can clarify all that and clear anything we need to clear before we set that new story or that new narrative in motion. Because now remember, we've already been in almost an 18-month cycle that was ruled by Leo, opposite Aquarius, for Venus. And we're recalibrating how we present ourselves to the world and what we want to be known for in terms of our authentic self, shining your true light, sharing your energy. That's been recalibrated internally. So now a lot of the social collective things are starting to move too. And we still have all these personal planets to help us anchor things as individuals. So this week is pretty juicy. On Thursday, the 21st, we have Sun sextiling Pluto. So now it's moved into Sag and it's fire to air, Sag to Aquarius. is an opportunity to gain some traction between those two houses. The transformation is beginning in the Aquarius house. So everything that sort of touches it along the way is going to wake things up for you. And in this case, the sun is illuminating early Sag. This is a healthy, positive, transformative energy. You will have access to energy that will help you change your current circumstance for the better and or clear up an issue that has been challenging you for a while now. It's great for purifying, cleaning, and clearing your personal space, as well as organizing your life in general. You may have to examine the big picture to see where an adjustment for the good of all involved may be necessary. If you're not feeling up to working on outer issues, this also gives you the opportunity to do some introspective thinking and deep self-reflection. Superficial once-overs will not do. You must address the root cause for where you find yourself at this time in your life and decide if it is working for you or against you. Like I said, the sun is just lighting things up through the Scorpio Sag department. Same day, Thursday the 21st, is my monthly Venus circle. Like I said, we're coming down to the root. We're at the solar plexus. We got the sacral and the root, and we're done with this cycle. And we start the new one on the cusp of Pisces Aries. So anyone with Aries, Libra, or Cancer, Capricorn, this week's call would be relevant to you. We are reclaiming at the Power Center, which is pretty juicy. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific is a conference call, and $25 gets you the replay, the tools, and activations. And we encourage you to drop in when you can. And anyone waiting for the new Venus cycle to start, I have the book is almost ready, and I'll probably start promoting it the first of the year. January, February, I'll start putting it out there because we're going to have the open house, which is going to tell you all about the new cycle, whether you join us or not. And then for those of you who want to go deeper, there's a monthly call and a workbook that we go through. And we do 9 months of release work and 9 months of reclamation work to consciously co-create with Venus, who rules what I call our love, money, and magnetics, what we naturally magnetize and naturally repel. And when you work with Venus consciously, life just seems to work out a little bit better. So drop in, check us out there, especially if you've got Capricorn somewhere. And then our last activation for the week is Friday the 22nd. Venus sextiling Saturn, speak of the devil. This energy has to do with your obligations within the context of your relationships. They are not difficult obligations in this case, but more emphasis is placed on really loving to serve those you care about. It is also what I call the keep it real energy regarding relationships or finances. This activation prompts you to clarify what you are building, stabilizing, and fortifying in your own relationships and finances especially. I am a total advocate of renegotiating terms as you go or as you go along because you evolve. The situation and support around you evolves and your needs change. So often we have to remind those closest to us. It's really hard to grow to the next level when each person is not clear on the ever-evolving roles and responsibilities. Of course, it starts with you knowing what you do or don't want and what you are or are not willing to compromise about. And you really need to get clear about what you want to create and make real. That's what Saturn brings to the table. And if you're feeling like the Saturn in Pisces is affecting you really directly, then check out the replay for that. We went deep into how to work with that, and we're going to do it with the Aries one next year as well. Meantime, at the bottom of the blog is my new reading, Your Year Ahead, Personal Activations and Right Timing for You. This is a little different from your cycles reading, although we can still do that and check in with where you're at with the cycles. That's the Astro Tarot. Also in here is the snake medicine for November. Owl will be our December medicine, but it's not quite ready yet. And I'm leaving in the Mercury retrograde activations, Mars activations, and Venus activations, which will be more relevant in the new year. So maybe I will remove those for now and bring them back a little later. But the Mars and Mercury are relevant right now. We're still in Scorpio energy of the month. Of course, the Power Circle subscription is a way to get your monthly activations and a bunch of bonus goodies. Astro Tarot is to check in with your cycles. Affiliate program is to get a little kickback when you share my links. And if you're new to the community, at the bottom of the blog is my Soul Sister Circle video invitation, which tells you a little bit about my story and all the core values that run through all my circles. So check that out when you get a chance. I hope you can join us this week at some of the events. Reach out directly when you need to, and have a fantastic week. This is Kelly Beard of Karmic Tools signing off.